Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro, and we'll go over the anatomy of an Azure policy definition file. Display name. This serves as an identifier for the policy and has a 128-character limit. Type. This field, which is read-only, indicates the source of the policy. It could be built-in, maintained by Microsoft, custom, created by you, or static, Microsoft-owned, and typically pertains to regulatory compliance. Description. This provides the context of the policy. Metadata. This optional field is used to store key value information on the policy, though this determines which resource types are evaluated and changes whether Resource Provider or Azure Resource Manager is used. Resource Manager modes include all. This includes resource groups, subscriptions, and all resource types. And indexed. This only includes resource types that support tags and location. Resource Provider modes were used in deprecated services like Microsoft Container Service Data and are now primarily utilized in services like Microsoft Kubernetes Data and Microsoft Key Vault Data. Moving on to parameters. Parameters are values passed into the policy to improve its flexibility. A parameter has the following properties. Name, the identifier for the parameter. Type could be a string, array, object, boolean, integer, float, or date/time. Metadata, utilized by Azure to display user-friendly information such as description, display name, strong type, assign permissions. Default value, an optional field to set a default parameter value. Allowed values, an optional field for setting accepted parameter values. You reference parameters by using field and in. Next, let's go over the policy rule. So this consists of if and then blocks. In the if block, you define one or more conditions that specify when the policy is enforced. You can apply logical operators to these conditions to precisely define the scenario for a policy. The next concept we'll look into is the policy rule and policy effect, which is important in determining the impact of the policy. So we'll go over a list of common policy effects. Deny, if a resource's creation or update doesn't adhere to the policy, it fails. Audit, this creates a warning event in the activity log when evaluating a non-compliant resource, but it doesn't stop the request. Append, this effect adds extra parameters or fields to the resource during its creation or update. For example, it could append tags on resources like cost center or specify allowed IP addresses for a storage resource. Audit if not exists. Similarly to the audit effect, this creates a warning event in the activity log when a resource doesn't comply with the policy, but it doesn't stop the request. Audit is used to audit the properties of a resource, while audit if not exists is used to audit the existence of a related resource. Deploy if not exists, this effect executes a template deployment when a specific condition is met. For example, if SQL encryption is enabled on a database, a template can be executed after the database creation to configure it in a specific way. And the last one is disabled. This effect turns off the policy rule, often used for testing purposes. These policy effects provide a range of responses to non-compliance, enabling you to manage your resources according to your organization's specific requirements.